What's going on, YouTube? This is Mag Dog TV coming back with another one. Offensive coordinator Tommy Rees is shockingly defending Dylan Gabriel, the lack of performance, his inaccuracy, and much, much more. Browns insider Mary Kay just gave us a late update as far as what the Cleveland Browns' intent is when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. Tony Rizzo is on a mission when it comes to Shedeur Sanders.
Every other city I go, from Colorado to the Bayou I go. Y'all know the motto, get a info I know. My people know it's Mad Dog TV, let's go. To every other city I go. From Colorado to the Bayou I go. Y'all know the motto, get a info I know. My people know it's Mad Dog TV, let's go. To every other city I go. From Colorado to the Bayou I go. Y'all know the motto, get a info I know. My people know it's Mad Dog TV, let's go.
So once again, as I said before, we are back again, another day to talk Shedeur Sanders. Today, Tommy Rees, offensive coordinator, spoke out about Dylan Gabriel. He actually defended Dylan Gabriel as far as his lack of production, making excuses, and much, much more. We also have Tony Rizzo in this video speaking out as far as what he intends to do to figure out what the is going on when it comes to Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns. In fact, Browns insider Mary Kay also gave us a late update as far as Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to play these 3 video clips and let you guys hear every single one of them, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts as we close this video.
In terms of just some of the throws that seemed pretty off on the part of Dylan, is there something mechanical happening? Is it just, I don't know. Can you?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the point a couple of points I was just mentioning, like evaluate it. Sometimes, hey, is there something mechanical or fundamental we want to correct? Is there something from a understanding during the week game plan that we want to correct? Sometimes quarterbacks miss. Sometimes, rain or weather can affect, all those things can affect it. So you try to boil each play down into its own individual play, and then what caused this, and then how can we correct that? Look, I've had my finger slip off a ball and you miss. If that's the case, great, we'll get the next one. If there's, hey, I wasn't quite sure on the coverage, then that's where we dig back in as coaches and talk through the reason of why we're doing things, and all those are really important.
So it's a number of different.
I think for every position, when you don't have the execution, that's what you're trying to get after. If we miss a block, did we understand the scheme? Did we set incorrectly? Did they just win? Did you step on the guard? Like, there's a lot of different things that go into every position as you evaluate it. Did you win at the top of a route? That's our job as coaches when you evaluate the game and what happens, to look at the reasons why things are happening. And then, there's obviously things that are correctable, and then there's things that you say, okay, we're going to move on from that and we'll get the next one.
With any young quarterback, there's going to be ups and downs, and regardless of the physical aspect, have you seen through start 1 through start 5 that Dylan's he's making the right decisions, his eyes are in the right place, he's seeing things as you guys want him to see it on the field? Yeah,
we always grade that part of him, and he grades out pretty high. Look, nobody's going to bat 1,000. There's, certainly I don't bat 1,000 calling it. Nobody's going to bat 1,000 in really anything they do, but I would say he grades out where we want him. Dylan's prep and where he is mentally for a rookie is really well beyond, he's mature that way. And then we want to make sure that, those things that are happening during the week, we go and execute them on Sunday.
I can't get over Shedeur not playing or not. Just doesn't seem like something is amiss there. Something is amiss. I'm going to do my best to find out exactly what the hell's going on. Even if I've got to go, laundry barrel. I'm going to sneak into the facility. I'm going to go undetected by the cameras.
Hello, Mary Kay.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Have there been players who have told you at all, or sources in the building, I should say, who have told you that they are ready for Shedeur Sanders to start?
No, I have not had that. I have definitely not had that. Absolutely have had so much support for Dylan Gabriel. and guys really are rallying behind him and trying to understand that he is a developing rookie, just the same way Shedeur is going to be when he gets in there, and that they're trying to do everything that they can to play better for him. I'm sure people are curious to a degree, but no one has shared with me that they want Shedeur to get in there over Dylan right now.
Why do you think that is?
I think that the messaging from the top has been pretty good. I think that Kevin Stefanski has made it very clear to his football team what's going on right now with Dylan Gabriel and how they need to support him and what the plan is for getting better around him. So I think the messaging has been good enough that people understand what's going on. And I'm not hearing those whispers and seeing those things going on behind the scenes in the building.
Yeah, I just remember, Mary Kay, and it was a different time, a different era that I don't know if you've blocked most of it out during the Johnny Manziel versus, at that time, Brian Hoyer dilemma. And there were factions. There were young players behind the scenes that were like, wait till you see Johnny. The ball comes out of his hands faster. And then once we kind of got into the season, they're like, oh, God, no, it has to be Brian Hoyer. Like, all that was getting leaked out constantly. I remember the national reporters were getting fed stuff. You were hearing stuff all the time. And I just find it odd that with as bad as Dylan has played, with as bad as the team has played, let's be fair here, it's not just a Dylan thing, that if the Shedeur stuff was so undeniable behind the scenes, I feel like we would hear it all the time.
We would hear it all the time, and you guys aren't hearing it either, I'm sure, because I really don't believe that it's going on. Now, sure, there might be a couple of guys here or there that are curious, and they are seeing some things in practice because I've seen them with my own two eyes. Shedeur Sanders, I've told you guys so many times, throws a beautiful ball. He is very, very accurate. He has elite accuracy. So I'm sure some guys might be curious privately, but I think this team has done a wonderful job of sticking together, of understanding where they're trying to go and what they're trying to do here. And right now it's about developing Dylan and the rest of the team and the rookies that are around him and trying to kind of hold that all together as a family. And I think they've done a good job of it. And you're right. Back in the Brian Hoyer, Johnny Manziel insanity that was going on, it wasn't that way. They weren't sticking together. Brian was always looking over his shoulder for what was going on with Johnny Manziel and didn't even trust what some of the higher ups in the building were telling him at times because it was really just a mess at that point.
Do you believe that Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry disagree on who should be playing quarterback right now?
No, I think for the most part, those guys put their heads together and they come up with a consensus. And it probably isn't just 100% Kevin sitting in a room by himself deciding, hey, let's stick with Dylan and see how this goes. I think it is more of an organizational thing that happens. And we heard Jimmy Haslam say in training camp that as a club, as an organization, they would eventually like to see both rookies play this season. I don't know if it will still play out that way or not, but they had already determined that was something that in a perfect world they would like to see. So I think those guys are in lockstep on this, and there is still alignment in this building.
All right, Mary Kay Cabot joining us right now, Cleveland.com and the Playing Dealer. So you talked about alignment, and then you kind of just mentioned there that the thought probably was to play both rookies, but you're not totally sure. That surprises me at this point. It seems like Shedeur has to play now, just given how bad things are, and at some point you want to evaluate guys. Are you saying that because there might be other quarterbacks ahead of Shedeur that might see time, or is it because you think Dylan Gabriel is just going to start the rest of the games this year?
I think that there is no set in stone plan for how this is going to go for them. Here's what I think. I think that they hope and want Dylan Gabriel to keep coming up the learning curve and to get better by the week. And that's what I think they're hoping happens. He's only had one game with Tommy Rees. I, for one, and I wrote this earlier this week, I think there's something to build on there. Let's see what he's got for a few weeks. Why would you start your 5th round pick for more games than you would start your 3rd round pick who you saw something in pre-draft and really wanted to see what was there? So I wouldn't be going out and starting my 5th round pick for more games this season than my 3rd round pick. It takes these young guys a time to develop. He had a really, really tough start. He started out in London, in Pittsburgh. And he didn't have Cedric Tillman all that time. The offensive line or the protection schemes aren't what they really need to be so far this year. So it hasn't been an easy cockpit, shall we say, for a rookie quarterback. And it probably won't be easy for Shedeur if and when he gets in there. It won't be easy. I can say with conviction that it won't be easy for him either. It's not a well-oiled machine right now. I think it will get better with Tommy calling the plays because I think he's good for Dylan. But I don't think that, that this is an easy situation for a young QB, and I would like to see what he can do for a few more weeks.
Well, let me ask you this, though. At what point, did they talk about it at some point being counterintuitive? Because he's not, you mentioned the London game. The London was the game he was probably at his best. It's been basically downhill since then, and I'm thinking, man, my whole thing of him was, all right, career backup, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I don't even know if he's going to have the chance to be that, because at some point it's like, man, I'd like to bring him off the field and get a breather. So if it's like, if you can't start Shedeur, okay, fine. I'm going to be upset about it, but I'll try to understand you guys on this. Not you, them. But it's like, fine, put in Bailey Zappi then or something, because I think this is starting to have a negative effect on him.
Well, I was talking about this yesterday on our podcast. Think about this for 1 second. The Cleveland Browns right now, at this moment in time, had 2 games that were basically lost by special teams. The first game against the Cincinnati Bengals with 2 missed kicks, and this past game against the New York Jets because of 2 kick returns for touchdowns. If you take away those 4 special teams gaffes, this team would be playing for first place in the AFC North on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, despite everything that has gone on this season. So the margin for error is very, very, very slim in the NFL. It's unfortunate for them because this was an opportunity for them to stay in the conversation deep into November and maybe even December, but they have had some unfortunate events that have gone on. In spite of everything else, they have such a good defense that they've been able to, stay into it until this point. Now, as far as Deshaun, I'm sure you guys want to know what the situation is with Deshaun. They may never open up Deshaun's practice window, but he is getting closer. He does feel that he's ready to play. He feels that he's ready to go out and win and start games for them. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I don't know if they'll open the window. I don't know if he will ever see the field this season.
So you guys had a chance to take a listen to here. 92.3 The Fans channel. Shout out to them. I will have a link in the description. Mary Kay speak out about the whole entire situation. Just sounds like a bunch of excuses coming out of the Cleveland Browns media fan base, along with the offensive coordinator. All these people are continuing to talk about development when it comes to Dylan Gabriel. You cannot develop something that I've seen with my 2 eyes with Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel just don't have it, and it's just about them continuing to lose games every single week, us continuing to repeat the same recaps when it comes to Dylan Gabriel's lack of performance every single week. This is just a routine. This is something the Cleveland Browns have done for the last 3-4 decades. Nothing is going to change until they decide to play Shedeur Sanders, although they do not want him, or they did not want him from the whole beginning of this situation. And they're going to see they should have started him week 1, and they're going to look stupid. Every single one of them. That is for sure. You guys can get down in the comments and let me know, how do you guys feel about what was said in this video? I gave it to you guys raw, uncut, along with the most updates that we have today when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notification bell. That way, every time I upload a new Shedeur Sanders update, you guys will get it right here on Mag Dog TV. Until next time, peace.